All right, Saturday morning, but right now it's late Friday or 8 p.m. Friday, anyways. Maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't. You know how the Bitcoin ETF, the Security and Exchange Commission, had to say yay or nay, from what I understand, by Monday, according to Bix Weir. And I think that's accurate, anyways, without him saying that. But and if they don't say yes or no about it becoming creating an ETF for Bitcoin, then it's automatically allowed. So 2100 hours, they made a comment. No, we're not going to allow it. Bitcoin allegedly looks like there's no buyers. Was that 1200 and I don't know 70 something maybe, and then just a straight shot down from this chart that I'm looking at down to $1,022 from approximately $1,275, So I was actually hoping the ETF thing didn't happen, because if you recall, and as I discussed, last time when we talked about this, I said if the ETF's created, you might see a way for the club, the elitists, the banksters, the government to start manipulating Bitcoin. They have to have some kind of paper thing in order to control the real item. That's true for oil. That's true for gold and silver, any and all commodities, wheat, corn, all commodities, as well as, of course, the Forex market, which again is the same things, essentially bets on currency movements. But, too many bets on a currency can actually cause the currency to go down or up, depending on what those bets are. That's how they control everything. It is absolutely critical that they have some paper market to deal with an underlying asset, a real asset. So if an ETF had been created for Bitcoin, and I discussed this, I said this last time, we might be looking at a way for the club and all them to manipulate Bitcoin. Because sure, we can transfer Bitcoin back and forth, but if there's an ETF behind it and they're billionaires, because again, you can't have a big hedge fund right now just get into Bitcoin. There's honestly not enough around for that kind of money to be thrown at it. So the price would go up exponentially. So the hedge fund couldn't do that. But a hedge fund could dump a ton of money into a Bitcoin ETF. Because what are you doing? You're essentially buying paper. You're not buying real Bitcoins. It's like a stock. It's like a share. So to me, I saw this. This is, in my opinion, this is good news. There will be no manipulating of Bitcoin. That's what it says to me. So how did $1,280 approximately look? And let me just show you this chart. This is what I'm looking at. 1,280 right around here. Okay. Straight shot down to 1,022 bucks. And then it started a little bit of action right here. Went up a little bit, but not a whole lot. So think about that. Who decided to dump however many Bitcoin that took, straight shot down, and no buyers? Where are all the buyers? Doesn't make any sense, does it? So was that the extent that the club, the government, etc., has? So in other words, while all of us have been buying Bitcoin, the government has also been buying Bitcoin, understanding that it can't buy a whole bunch, because if it did, and everyone's going to sell it, they want to get the most, the highest price for their Bitcoin. Government's going to have to kind of sneak in there with the rest of us and buy one here, buy one there, etc., until they've gathered enough to where they can dump a bunch on the market. Oh, bad news. SEC says no Bitcoin for ETF. Oh, dump all of our stuff. Oh. So it went down, what, about $300 roughly, 280, whatever the hell that equals. So what? What did Cliff High tell you was going to happen with Bitcoin? Big crocodile teeth moves, and it's going to go up ultimately. So this article from CoinDesk, Bitcoin prices plunge after SEC's ETF refusal. Bitcoin prices fell sharply after the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission shot down a bid to list a Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, or ETF. The digital currency's price fell to as little as $1,022.68 at 2100 UTC time, the lowest since roughly mid-February, according to the CoinDesk Bitcoin Price Index. This figure represents a nearly 30% decline from the all-time high of $1,325.81 that Bitcoin prices reached earlier in the session. So isn't that interesting? It actually was in the over 1,325 at 1,325. When it plunged, it was about 1,280. At the time of the report, Bitcoin prices have recovered above the $1,100 line, hitting $1,109.06 at press time. The digital currency's sharp price fluctuations took place amid robust trading volume as major exchanges, including Bitfinex and Kraken, experienced a large increase in transaction activity during the session. Market participants traded 46.4 thousand and 22.8 thousand Bitcoin through these exchanges in the 24 hours leading up to roughly 21:30 UTC time, compared to an average of 26,000 and almost 14,000 that went through these exchanges during sessions over the past week, Bitcoinity data reveals. So I also heard, this was from Big Swear, said that he went, I don't know if he went there or he heard, but what's that site? Coinbase, or Coinbase. Is it Coinbase? Let me check. Yeah, Coinbase, the one site I'm telling you where you can go and buy these things and sell them. And he said the site was like non-responsive. There was so much crap happening, so much sales, so much volume of Bitcoin moving around that it was hard to get in and log in and do anything. So I want you to think about that for a second. Because remember, Gerald Celente said when 9/11 happened, not for this reason of that the exchanges were too busy with trades, but the government had shut them down for the time being for a few days, and then he couldn't get his money out of there. It was stuck in limbo land. He couldn't do nothing with it. So if you were trying to get in or get out of Bitcoin at that exact moment, oh crap, sell, or buy, and you want to get in at $1,022, and you can't even log into Coinbase or whatever your other exchange is, what does a person do? Let me pause this for 1 second. All right, so I am back. Had one of the kids come spend the night, so got to pause the video, let all the noise settle, and then come back. So anyways, it was like and I don't know what period of time, maybe Big Swear knows, but it was some period of time, you couldn't get in sell or buy Bitcoin. Now, again, that was Coinbase. I don't know about other exchanges. At the same time, for example, if you went to local Bitcoins, remember I told you that's another place you can get them where you can actually meet somebody at the McDonald's or somewhere, meet in the parking lot or whatever, do an exchange, here's some cash, give me the Bitcoin, or vice versa. But I did say, you ultimately risk, could you be robbed or something? Well, if you're not careful, possibly, but if you do it inside of a McDonald's or fast food restaurant, again, highly unlikely. But on a move like that, where you said, I want to get in, you're not going to go to local Bitcoins, find somebody, let's meet over here. The thing already recovered to 1,100, so it was already up $80 by the time you could have even thought about doing anything. However, it is what it is. So you would say, well, yeah, but if I had access to my online account, say through Coinbase, I could have easily go in, sell, before the announcement. Let's say maybe you had not a crystal ball. Maybe you had one of these Magic 8 balls. And the Magic 8 ball said, get online right now. The Securities and Exchange Commission is going to deny the ETF for Bitcoin. Sell. Okay? So if you did that, hang on 1 sec. Okay, let's try that again. The exchanges, Coinbase, you couldn't get in and out in time. And again, looking at that thing, it was like a straight shot down. Was it a straight shot down because so many exchanges were not able to handle the orders, therefore that big shot downward took place? It's possible. But again, it's going to recover. This ETF not happening is good news to me. The last thing I wanted to hear was that there's a stupid exchange traded fund paper nonsense where all the billionaire club can go and play and, of course, manipulate Bitcoin to the whatever likings they wanted. Want to go up, they can make it go up. They want to go down, they can go down. But I thought too, if the Security and Exchange Commission allowed it to become an ETF, or not, I feel like what I'm about to tell you doesn't matter either way. They don't want you messing with gold or silver, right? So the fact that they don't want you messing with that, let's let these people get into Bitcoin. Let's let that thing do whatever the hell it's going to do, because we do not want people getting into precious metals. Let them play with that thing, because if they play with precious metals, as you've seen, we got to rehypothecate Germany's gold or so-and-so's gold to put out some fires over there. This one's demanding delivery. This one wants their gold back. We don't like that. We had to add 41% more money as far as into the paper contracts to manipulate silver as of last year than the year before. So it's costing us more to do the same thing. Boy, Bitcoin's great. No one can demand a Bitcoin. You can't demand delivery of a physical Bitcoin. It just gets transferred back and forth. So maybe that's the elite's way of saying, you know what? Maybe, and I'll say maybe, it's definitely a maybe, not a for sure. Maybe the club doesn't really mind Bitcoin too much anymore. Maybe they did it first and then realized, wait a minute, why are we fighting this, guys? I understand it's a competing currency against ours, but it's far better than the other shiny metal competing currency that we don't have enough of, that we have to have multiple claims on each one of these freaking bars we have down here. We just sent Germany some of their gold, in which the serial numbers never matched what they gave us because we melted it down and gave it away. Whoops. So let them play. Let the sheeple play with Bitcoin. Let it, whatever happens, who cares? As long as it takes their focus off precious metals, let them take it and run with it. Maybe, and I will say maybe that's the plan. So they realize, well, if we give an ETF, we can manipulate the price of Bitcoin too. But it's going to cost us money as a government. It's going to cost us money to do so, because we have to then go in and buy it and then flood the market and then buy it and flood the market and play that game again. We're already doing that with all these other things. And as you see, the debt ceiling and all the spending, let's let them have the Bitcoin. Let it do whatever the hell it's going to do. They're leaving us our precious metals alone. That's the plan. Except, pardon me, Jason at 4, the people aren't leaving precious metals alone. They still want gold and silver. Bitcoin is for the people who don't know anything about gold or silver, and I keep hearing about Bitcoin. What is this Bitcoin? I want to get on a Bitcoin. So you now have a bunch of people learning about Bitcoin, and I think by default, anyone who starts learning about Bitcoin is somehow or another going to understand there's a partner in crime with Bitcoin, and that's gold and silver. Both of them are where people are going to run to protect their wealth, so to speak. My opinion on that. But I think this was a really good thing. Because I felt like today, I said, well, they got till Monday. I kind of don't want to hear that they've made an ETF, because it made me think, man, they're going to manipulate it. It's not going to be good for Bitcoin. But I kept thinking, well, I guess it doesn't matter if they do or if they don't, because according to the webbot, and I really look at the webbot on this one because it is on fire accurate with Bitcoin movements. It's saying there's going to be massive numbers for Bitcoin, like scary high numbers for Bitcoin. So manipulation doesn't seem probable, which means the Security and Exchange Commission denying this makes more sense, because that can then fit the bill of where Bitcoin's going to ultimately go when people start seeing devaluation over here, devaluation over there, devaluation over there. It's going to happen. So I wanted to bring this news to you. It's very interesting, and I think, I'll say it again, I think it's fantastic. I really do. So don't mind this little drop down. Bitcoin is going to recover. As the webbot said, it's going to go to 1291. I looked the other day, as I said, convert 1291 US dollars to Chinese yuan. It was approximately where webbot said also to look for 8888 yuan, Chinese yuan, 8,888. It was right there. He said, again, crocodile teeth, don't worry about it. But the next stop, and I'm assuming obviously after this $1,022 drop, or not drop, but drop to $1,022, $1,022, is $1,408. And then from there, we're going to be going into the low 2000s. 22, I think it was 2,300 if I recall. With a sizable drop, he said we should, which is what I would expect, like this, 1,300, boom, 1,022. I would expect kind of the same thing, 2,223, oh my gosh, 1,500, something like that. Again, his report, the Webbot report, I will say this because I've been following that report, the many reports that come out for the Webbot for freaking years. I have never, to date, seen one particular subject that comes up in the Webbot that is so accurate every freaking time a report comes out. I have never seen anything else that accurate. So sit back. Prices are low. You want a Bitcoin? Grab one. Hey, I wish I was in at 1270 something, whatever it was. I had to pay almost around $1,300 because $19 fee to Coinbase for the transaction. I don't care. It's the equivalent of, I bought silver to 18. Oh, it's down to 17. Okay, so what? It's going to be a fire sale when Bitcoin is, thousands. You're not going to, man, I was in at 1280 and it dropped down to 1022 for a split second. Then it was back up to 1100. I missed it. Oh, I'm sorry. It's $7,000 today. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. I don't care. That's kind of how that's going to go. We now have the debt ceiling thing coming up. It's next week. Next week. Today's the 10th, Friday, 11, 12, Sunday, Monday. Boom, 13, 14, 15. Middle of the week, next week. Debt ceiling problem. Now, we may not, because they got a little bit of a window, but can't wait to see how it goes, to be honest with you. We got the Obamacare repeal thing. We want to go with Paul Ryan's plan now, which is a crappy plan. Other senators are standing up now. Well, we don't want that. We want a full repeal and replace. What the hell's going on? Webbot said, watch March. Watch month of March. Chaos is going to start ensuing. I think we're off to a good start as far as that prediction. So anyways, a couple more videos to do. I shall talk to you soon. Take care.